Well, very good afternoon, or a simulated good evening. We are going to do a night flight today, flying from Long Beach Airport to Palm Springs. This airport's quite warm to my heart because this is where I learned to fly, and the runway we're taking off, I hope, Will 26 right, is going to be the runway which I first soloed on 40 years ago. Oh, it's been a long time. And many flying hours. Alright, let's take a look at our flight planning today. Fairly straightforward. We've got, if we look at our flight plan and the altitudes, we got some winds at altitude, so I'm going to take her up to 9,500 and get as much boost from those as possible. If we do our leisurely climb, we'll stay well clear of the Los Angeles class Bravo, and in the middle of the flight we pass over March Air Force Base, way high, and we'll delay our descent as we've got some high terrain, and make a rapid descent once we're clear of the terrain. We're going through the Banning Pass, but we're going to one side of the Banning Pass. I think probably a good idea just to swing out a little bit so we don't run into the mountains. That's one of the things of night flying. Alright, now a few preparations for night flying. We put our EFB into night mode because we don't want the glare. We double check a few things. Most important, tea in a non-spillable container. Stow that by the side by the flaps there so I can get hold of it easily. Next most important thing, we have one torch in the pocket, and two in the flight bag. That is quite important. Everything else, we've got our checklist here, we've got our loadout. Let's just check our loadout. Flying at night we normally carry a little bit more. I am going to let's just do a little bit more fuel, shall we? So we go to the tablet device, and let's see how do you get fuel in this bus. Doesn't seem to want to do that. Alright, if we look at our fuel, we got 12. That is 2 hours flying. Our alternate was going to be thermal. That's legal, but I would take it up to I'd probably just fill the tanks. What the hell, you don't know what's going to happen, and there's nothing more useless than having fuel on the ground. So imagine we've got full fuel tanks. It's normally the way I take off anyway. We get a slightly slower climb, but hey, that gets us on the ground. Alright, we're taking off on the left tank. Let's just verify that. We're on the left tank. All's looking good. Avionics are off. Let's run the checklist and get the engine started. The battery's a bit dicky in this plane apparently, even though what we got on the hobs now? We got 11.8 hours on the tack. Already we've got to replace the battery. The equipment they're giving us nowadays. Passenger briefing, well, I think we've given you all a fairly good briefing. Brakes, test and set. Fuel selector, checked. Avionics, checked. Off. Throttle, down. Master switch, on. Electric fuel pump, on. Mixture rich, check. Fuel pressure looks good. Out the window, shout clear, and turn the anti-collision lights on. And let's crank her. And we've got a good engine start. We're on both. And fuel pump off, oil pressure, fuel pressure, all looking good. Alternator showing load, lean or out for taxi. And let's bring up the radios and just check everything's working.
The way is assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information Kilo.
Doesn't it want to turn anything on? There we go.
Long Beach Airport, 8 is information Kilo. 1853 Zulu. Wind 170 at 5.
And
Visibility 7. Sky condition, clear. Temperature 24. Dew point 15. Altimeter 2988. Arriving and departing runways 26 left, 26 right, 30. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information Kilo.
Kilo, we've just lost our EFD on the screen. Let me get that going for you again.
1853 Zulu. Wind 170 at 5. Visibility 7. Sky condition, clear. Temperature 24. Dew point 15. Altimeter 2988. Arriving and departing runways 26 left, 26 right, 30. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments.
Alright, what's happening with our stop mirroring? Let's try it again. Looks like we've lost a lonely screen. Oh, there we go. For some reason it departed the... let's just stick that back there. Alright, flight scene. There we go, that looks better. Something went wrong there. Alright, looks like we're all in good shape. We can see. Let's get on to ground. 1330. And COM 2. And there's clearance delivery on 118.15. Let's get them up too. And we're on COM 1 in that case. Long Beach, clearance delivery, good afternoon. Cherokee November 32847, information Kilo on board, north east ramp, we'd like VFR flight following to Palm Springs, 9,500. And it looks like we've still got problems. COM 1, 118.85, 118.15. Let's try it again. Let's get a radio check. Long Beach, clearance Cherokee November 32847, radio check.
Number 32847, you're 5 out of here, mate.
November 847 coming in 5x5. November 32847 is at the northeast ramp, information Kilo on board. We'd like VFR flight following to Palm Springs, 9,500.
32847 up your frequency 128.1, squawk 4412.
4412 on squawk, 128.1 departure, November 32847.
32847, correct.
Great. Now we need to call for taxi on 133.0. Long Beach ground, good afternoon. Cherokee November 32847, northeast ramp, information Kilo. We'd like to taxi for takeoff, departing to the east.
Number 328 Palm Springs ground, runway 26 right, taxi via Kilo.
November 32847, was that Long Beach ground, taxi via Kilo 26 right?
Correct.
Okay. You got the wrong airport. Anyway, that's threw me a little bit. Kilo to, so we're basically there already. Let's just see. So we just follow the dotted line there. Let's just very gentle taxi. Just move forward just a little bit. And just hold there. Just get into the movement area. So we're technically in the control area of the runway, but we don't block the intersection. I think that should be good right there. Alright, let's how's our oil temperature looking? Because it's a short taxi, we just sort of take this fairly leisurely, let the engine warm up a bit while we check our seatbelts. Seats locked. Last thing we want is the seat to go back as we're taking off. Controls, full travel. Controls free and correct. Doors, check doors, latched. Latched. Very nice. I'm going to turn the red light down.
Tower, Diamond 361
bit bright.
10 miles to the west.
There we go.
Runway with information, India.
Let's turn off the turn down the panel lights a bit.
361 Delta Burbank Tower, make straight in, runway 8, nice. Cleared to land.
Straight in, runway 8, cleared to land, 1 Delta Sierra, thank you.
Another little check we should do this during our walk around, is we need to check that our position lights are working.
1 Delta Sierra, when you expect it, probably after this flight.
Also
you need to go into your settings in Flight Simulator 2020 and disable the ATC controls radios option, or whatever that is.
Okay, yeah, that all makes sense. Good.
This is in response to my transponder. Thank you for the tip. I've kind of been struggling with this, and I will look at that right after I land. Thank you.
Okay.
No problem. I'm not sure if you're in our Discord server or not, but there's plenty of documentation about that in there, I'm sure.
Wings on horizon. Liquid compass matches.
Yeah, just knowing where to look is the hard part, but this should. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
2988 on the bar. 2988, which gives us just 56 feet at Long Beach. There we go. That all's correct. Check primer. Primer. Give it a good pull. There's nothing there. Trim tab. We got plenty of runway for. Trim tab is working, isn't it? Do we have? Looks like the. We've lost the joystick. Another good reason to... Okay, that's working. Trim tab is working. I think we've got ourselves a problem. I don't think we're going to fly today. Let's just check the controls from the... Okay, that seems to be working. Control surfaces are working. But when we press the trim tab, let's just go back in here. We don't seem to have any trim movement. That is probably a showstopper. Let's see if we can fix it, shall we, before we... there's the trim indicator there. Okay, trim indicator is working. Flaps. Flaps, flaps, flaps. Okay, it seems to have recovered. Oh dear, I hate it when that happens. Alright, so we're in a reasonable condition for taking off. We were on the trim throttle, check the mags.
We're 1 Delta Sierra. Just make sure that you're verify that you're making straight in for runway 8.
I was just about to ask. Runway 8, thank you, 1 Delta Sierra.
And November 1 Delta Sierra, runway 8, clear to land.
Good drop on the mags, that's what we want. Let's just take it. Now let's just get that full rich. It's the carburetor heat is still bugging me because it doesn't come down enough. Let's just check it out. Right. I've got a funny feeling when they were modelling this plane, the carburetor heat box had perished baffle material, and they're getting unfiltered air into the engine. So that definitely, I've just rebuilt my carburetor heat box, and I was having a similar problem. I wasn't getting enough drop, and it's quite important that everything's running properly. So where are we? Let's just check our gyro suction. Normally you check the gyro suction with it. And the annunciator panel, yep, that's all good. Lights are working, we don't have any issues. Let's set up our departure frequency and our tower frequency. We are supposed to be squawking 4412. Let's set that up and make sure. Okay, come back 1. 4. We should have the transponder on the ground. Since ADSB became common, the ATC acceptor of extremely busy airports, they like to have you displaying on the computer screens. All right. What are we? 4412, 128.1. And tower frequency is 120.5. So we're on COM 2. There we go. And then we just swap over to COM 1 for departure. Transponder on. Takeoff briefing. We'll do a right downwind departure. Long Beach Tower, good afternoon. Cherokee November 32847, ready for takeoff. 26 right, and we'd like a right downwind departure, please.
The 328 first Long Beach Tower, runway 26 right, cleared for takeoff. Make right downwind departure.
November 32847, right downwind departure. 26, a right, clear for takeoff. Okay, time.
1 Delta Sierra, exit parking.
Taxi to 1 Delta Sierra, thank you for tolerating me today.
No problem.
1936. Lights. Transponder. Compass. There we go. There's 26 right. Now is the time when you really want to check your compass. It's so easy to wander onto the wrong runway. I did this once at night here. I was supposed to take off runway 30 and I took off on 26 left at the intersection. So let's just come to a stop. No rush. There's nobody else waiting to take off, and we are 26, 26, time, lights, transponder, compass. Let's go. Airspeed's alive. Evil little rudder, come on. Okay, looking for 56. Gauges are green. Off we go. Trimmer for 76. And there's a residential area just beyond Signal Hill, so we want to get away from them. Let's just keep our climb for the time being. Our safe altitude is 600 feet. We should be 600 feet before we reach the end of the runway. and we'll start our crosswind. Safe altitude. Let's bring the throttle back just a little bit. Fuel pump off. Let's leave the landing light on for the time being. We want to be seen in this airspace. And let's get on course. Gentle standard brake turns. And we're already at traffic pattern altitude. Square off that turn. And let's continue. And this is something the simulator does so nice. Is we follow the grid. Streets match the runway. So we can just get on a 80 course, trim her, and let's see if we can get this beastly autopilot to work for us. There we are. I won't engage it just yet because it's got an annoying habit of going all over the place. Is he going to hand us over to departure? Probably not. So we'll just climb to 2,550 and clear the frequency ourselves. And we've got 5,000 is our class Bravo above us. Right, there we go. SoCal departure. Good afternoon, Cherokee, November 32847, 2,700, climbing 9,500.
We're 32847, SoCal departure, radar contact.
So, few TFRs we've got to watch out for. We have Disneyland up ahead. We're at 3,000 feet, so we are. That's not a factor. 0 to 3,000. Hang on, there's Disneyland there. Surface 3,000 AGL. So that's about 50 feet above sea level. So we are well above Disneyland right now. Let's just make sure we don't go over 5,000 till we're clear of that next sector, and say a prayer and engage the autopilot. Will you? Heading. Are you going to go all over the place, or are you going to play nice? He's going to play nice. Ooh. Let's just bring it back on course. There we go. Intercepting our course. We also have another. If you look at that little orange ring, there's a TFR tomorrow, presidential TFR. All these things you check before you get on the plane. That's a nice thing about this electronic flight box, and most of them are the same. They connect the internet and bring in the latest temporary flight restriction. This one's a heavy one because it seems centered over Long Beach, so all flights in this area are prohibited while the TFR is active. In the outer ring, where Fullerton is, you can operate with a flight plan and the street's walk code, so long as you're arriving or departing an airport there, or maybe transiting if there's air traffic availability. But anyway, that's going to be tense times tomorrow in this area. So let's get the flight in now and enjoy it. So we are 4,200. We're just exiting the 5,000 ceiling, so we are okay for the time being. If you look at the altitude, you see we are climbing a little bit too aggressively. We're going to bust the Bravo up ahead, so we're going to slow down our climb, speed up a little bit. There we are. We don't need to climb quite so aggressively now. And then the next airspace is the Class Charlie for March Air Force Base. Alright, and we can start leaning around a bit. Throttles come down, so we'll just let the EGT come up a bit. And while that's all happening, let's just take a look around. Flying at night in the Los Angeles area is just nothing short of spectacular. This is so realistic. There we have Fullerton up ahead. And beyond Fullerton, what do we have beyond Fullerton? There's Chino in the distance. Very, very pleasant. Flight instructor always said you've got to have 90% of your concentration outside the window. So 6,000, so we've got 1,000 to go before we bust the class Bravo, which we are not going to do. We're losing the green screen today. Oh well, there's not much to see behind my back. We've got the light going outside. Need to work on this studio a bit. Let's focus on flying the aircraft, shall we? So we took off at 19:36. We've been in the air 8 minutes. Our 41 minutes to run. So we will change the tanks at 25 minutes. That should give us plenty of margin. So what do we do? Let's change it on the top of the hour. Set the alarm. 2000. Tank okay. Alright. 13 minutes to run to tank change. Let's get back on course. And we are outside the class Delta, class Bravo, so we can just we're coming up to 6,000 feet, so we just pour on the coals. Above 6,000 feet you can't really hurt the engine, give it full throttle and lean it out a bit, get good performance. The sooner we get up to 9,000 feet, or 9,500, the sooner we get the beneficial effect of those tailwinds, and I like altitude. Altitude is options. Especially at night. Now, there's so many airports here. If we did have an engine problem, we could probably find a field to land in. Now, because we're in such a crowded airspace, I'm going to leave the landing light on the entire flight. We've got the strobes, we've got the position lights, but if we're on a head-on collision with somebody, the landing light really shows us up. And once we get into the cruise mode, nice to have some snacks in the cockpit. Can always travel with a lot of mandarins. I think it keeps you hydrated. And right, a little garbage bag behind me in the seat pocket. And Pilot Edge is very quiet tonight. Not many people flying. Normally, in SoCal approach, we've got the vectoring in jets from the Pacific. One of the things flying underneath a class Bravo like this, you've got to be careful of, is wake turbulence. Notice all the way to the north of us, we have a descending corridor where the big jets on their final approach, stacked about 40 seconds behind each other. That's a prime place to catch some wake turbulence. The last thing you want to do is be 2,000 feet underneath an A380 and catch his wake with partial flaps and lots of power. It can really, really mess you up. Lean her out a little bit more, aggressively leaning her. Slightly richer peak while we're climbing, and then we'll lean it out to lean and peak once we're at altitude. And it's a beautiful night tonight. Half moon. Just see the twilight over the Pacific Ocean. So we can see where we've come from. And a phenomenal night. A good idea, I think, to keep exactly on our plotted course line because we do have high terrain. If we go south of that magenta line.
That's right, departure 87 to go, 3,200 if you climb via the North Star 5 maintaining 5,000.
Great, so Gulf Las Vegas, departure radar contact. November 847, take SoCal approach 135.4.
135.4, November 847, good day. 135.4, we're on COM 1, so just Let's just flip over. If I get the frequency wrong, then I can flip back. 135.4. SoCal approach, good afternoon, Cherokee November 32847, 8,700 climbing 9,500.
32847, Cal approach the Ontario altimeter 2988.
2988, November 847.
For 7 Golf, turn right direct Las Vegas, resume on navigation, climb maintain flight level 190.
190, right into Las Vegas and on course 70 Golf.
Let's just set up our landing here. KPSP. Alright, so 119.7, landing 119.7, and ATIS is 124.65. Alright. Don't think we're going to get ATIS until we're...
For 72 Golf, I'm correction, contact LA Center, 133 point, correction, it's 134.65.
3465, 70 Golf.
Let's just creep on up to 9,500. $9,500 is quite a good altitude. It's high enough that the aircraft performance is quite economical. And we're below the altitude where the jets go into high speed, so the speed limit is 250 knots. Gives you just a little bit more time to see and avoid.
72 Golf, LA Center, contain flight level 220.
And in reality, we would have jets flying all over the place around us. Can't see a thing at the moment.
Right, 72 Golf, LA Center, main flight level 220.
Quite a lot of twilight today. Conditions like this, you're going out of the desert, it's like you're flying into a black hole, and all of a sudden you realise you are completely in instrument conditions. If there's any kind of haze, you can't see the stars, and even if you can see the stars, the horizon's deceptive. So that's the time you need to get on those instruments. So there's a little bit more training required to get night rated, and a lot of that is instrument work. You still have to comply with the VFR minimums. You have to be able to see a certain distance, but it's again, it's a little bit more technical. USA, as far as I know, is the only country which allows night VFR. Strictly prohibited in any normal ICAO country. So once you go south of the border, it's 1 hour after sunset, and that's it. You can't fly into the night. A lot of pros and cons. The air tends to be a lot smoother at night. You get a nicer ride. Air traffic control is not so busy. As last year, I was going into Houston at about 4 in the morning, and I was cleared right through the middle of the Houston Bravo direct to my destination because there was absolutely no other traffic at that time. So that was nice. coming up on our tank change. Let's just see where we want to land. We could probably, it's 4.5 miles to Riverside. If we lost our engine during the tank change, we could probably glide to Riverside. So now this is probably, yeah, there's Riverside right there. So now it's probably as good a time as any to change the tank. Fuel pump on, and flip it onto the right tank. Fuel pump off, check fuel pressure, and on my plane we'll check the fuel flow as well. Fuel flow meter is a brilliant piece of kit to have. Let's just settle it a bit more into the cruise. See that. Bring back the climbing so much. That's got her. It seems to be on a sweet spot there. Theoretically, if I lean around, I should start to see the engine running a bit rough. So now we're leaner peak. We're not seeing much way. About here, the engine will be running really rough. So got it just right there, I think. Really important you do lean out the engine at all phases of flight. Otherwise, if you're doing your own 50-hour maintenance, which is legal if you own the plane, you'll be cleaning a lot of lead off, especially off the lower spark plugs. Okay, message tank. Okay, that's it. We're halfway through our flight. We are 22 minutes to run. We've been in the air 22 minutes. We've used more fuel on the climb than we will on the descent, so we'll be landing on the fullest tank. Let's check the gauges. So that's just under 10. We'll be just under 10 when we land. Let's review our what we know about Palm Springs. So, looking at the ADSB we've got a wind is 110, 5 knots, so we'll be landing, he'll put us in airport, more options, extend runways, so it's probably going to be 13 right to land. I'll extend 13 right. When are we going to pick up the ATIS? Well, we're not going to pick up the ATIS until we're turning the corner. There's Ontario International in the back there. Seems like the sunset is permanently, I think we're going to have to lots of clocks, so we're going properly into night. It would go a lot faster than that. So now if we look ahead, yeah, we're flying into a black hole. In reality, you probably wouldn't even see that mountain up ahead. However, we've got the terrain. We've got two different terrain avoidance systems. One, the main tablet is slave to our ADSB receiver, so that's one GPS. The other unit is using the internal GPS. And they're both cross-checking each other. Again, these are not approved bits of kit at all, and you can only use them if they are removable. If you want to use fixed gear, it has to be gear that's fixed in the plane. You have to have them certified, and this kit costs me $150 a month, a year to run. The hardware for the iPad was at $300, and the Android tablet is my phone, which another $300, so $600 a kit, and you get gear which, in my opinion, is as good as the certified stuff. The iPad will run for the entire duration of the flight. If I lose the ADSB in, I just reach into my ashtray to my left, and I whip out the Bad Elf GPS receiver and just stick it in the unit. I don't have ADSB, but I have a backup GPS then. And I have a third Android tablet in the flight bag, which is running at the same time, so that can come into play as well. The nice thing as well about these Androids is they not only use GPS, they use GLONASS as well. So I've been flying across El Paso area, and they've been doing GPS jamming in the White Sands range, and you hear all the commercial pilots complaining to flight following that their GPS is out and they're having to navigate with inertial. GLONASS works just fine, so my gear just keeps going, not a problem. So thank you, Vladimir, for providing a backup satellite system. So we're 36 miles to go. He's telling us that we're going to need to do a 500 foot per minute descent. We'll start descending a little bit later. What's our, if we go over Banning, let's just do that, change the Banning, because that's the low point in the valley, which is 2,200. We've got windmills, so we want to be at least 1,000 foot above that. There you can see the red lights of the windmills there. And why do you have windmills in the Banning Pass? Because it gets windy in there. I've been flying through here and had 50, one time 60 knots, steady winds. I once made a mistake of taking a shortcut. I was on my way from Tucson and flying over this area here, and we had strong winds from the east in a massive downdraft. I should have realised that at the time, that was possible. Anyway, after that I always go through the Banning Pass. I don't take any risks with shortcuts. Okay, the wind will blow strongly through here, but it's steady and it's a horizontal wind. So, except that's a little tip from me. And we've got a good ground speed, 120 knots, so we'll just stay up here for a little while longer. Once we're over Banning, then we'll start our descent. Let's set up our ATIS. So 135.4 ATIS, we said, was 124.65. 124, and let's hit the COM 1. Nothing heard. We'll leave it on that. So as soon as we come into range, we should start hearing the ATIS. Over the ATC frequencies. Anything else we need to make a note of? Let's just review the shorter runway. Airport info. So if he puts us on the left runway, how long is that? 5,000 feet times by 74 plus 75. That's plenty. Okay, it's not a problem. So all well within this aircraft's capability. And it's left pattern for the right runway. Should be left. I see. So they don't want you doing right pattern over Palm Springs. Make sense. Good. All right. Anything else you need to know? The field elevation is 476. Traffic pattern altitude 15 feet. So we don't need to work out any special approach speeds or anything. We are light. Anything else I need to consider about the airport? No, I think we're good. There's banning up ahead. I think we can start our VFR descent now. SOCOM approach, November 847. We're commencing VFR descent at this time.
November 847, SOC approach. Roger, unless you have a restriction on your altitude, you can climb or descend as necessary. Contact SOCOM approach now 126.7.
126.7 and November 847, good day. 126.7. 126.7. Incom 2. SOCOM approach, good afternoon Cherokee, November 32847 and 9,300 descending.
32847, Cal approach, Palm Springs, altimeter 2977, information Joliet current.
November 32847, 2977 on the bar, we'll pick up Juliet when we're in range. Churches. There we go.
Santa Barbara departure, Diamond 361 Delta Sierra, heading, going through 1,000 foot.
For 361 Delta Sierra, set a departure, resume on navigation, cancel altitude restriction.
Yeah, the
Canceling out restriction 1 Delta Sierra, but did you also say resume on heading? I'm sorry.
1 Delta Sierra, O navigation, and cancel altitude restriction.
Roger that, 1 Delta 6.
Yeah, you got a bit grungy when I told him I was initiating my VFR descent. I always do that with flight following. I've heard people who haven't done it, and in reality they get quite narky if you suddenly change altitude without telling them. So I am not going to change that habit.
clear. Temperature 3.3. Altimeter 2975. Arriving at departing runway 31 left. 31 right. Visual approaches.
Wind to Gulf via Janny 5 arrival, Burbank altimeter 2986.
Arrive on course heading.
SoCal approach, November 847 has Palm Springs information Kilo on board.
November 847, roger.
Okay. So there we're running 3-1. So airport info close. More options. Extend runways. 3-1 left is the one most likely. And as I expected, that both runways are right traffic. So very easy to land on the wrong runway if you don't listen to his clearance. He's going to hand me over to the tower, so let's just set up 119.7. 119.7 is set up. Great.
So got departure November 75 Alpha Foxtrot 2500. 17 Alpha Foxtrot, so got departure, zero navigation, cancel altitude restriction. Cancel altitude on F175 Alpha Foxtrot.
If we look at our descent profile, she's smooth air, 400 foot per minute, so that takes us well clear of the terrain. As soon as we get beyond the shoulder, I'm going to put her down on the deck. And see, our faithful terrain avoidance system is keeping us well clear of nasty stuff. So many accidents would have been avoided with this simple little bit of software. I mean, was it $25 I paid for it, and then I think it's a $20 subscription a year. Such a useful piece of kit. Alright, start cleaning up the cockpit. We'll go sterile. We are 13 miles left to run to Palm Springs. We should start seeing it soon. Let's speed up our descent a little bit now. A little bit of ear popping, sorry. $10 miles to run. Should be handing us over soon. See the runways clearly now. And November 847 has the field in sight.
November 847. Contact Springs to 119.7.
November 847, Palm Springs, 19.7, good day.
Number 361 Delta Sierra, type Point McGee approach 124.7.
From 1.
Shin Zulu.
For 318 Golf Lima, Santa Barbara clearance on departure, flag runway heading, maintain VFR at or below 1,500 until advised. Departure frequency 120.55, squawk 4142.
After departure, flag runway heading, maintain at or below 1,500 until advised. Departure frequency 120.55, squawk 1442. 318 Golf Lima.
Ready, then McGough, free back right.
Palm Springs Tower, good afternoon, Cherokee November 32847, descending out to 5,100, 7 miles out, with information kilo on board.
For 32847, Palm Springs Tower, enter right downwind, runway 31 left.
November 32847, right downwind, runway 31 left. 31 left, 31 left is on there, it's the big runway. What do you say the traffic pattern altitude is 1,500?
Above ground to altitude and Golf Lima at the north ramp, ready to taxi, information is moving.
Very good, one way to go, let's go, mixture a bit richer. We'll land with a full rich.
Lima, Santa Barbara ground, runway 15, taxi via Charlie.
Runway 15 left, taxi via Charlie, 318 Golf Lima.
And set her up to 31 left. And set it to 3 nautical miles. A long way to go. One thing about the Piper Warrior, they with that longer wing, they love staying in the sky. And we're entering the Class Delta from above. Downwind, we'll report on the downwind once we're there. Autopilot off, let's fly the plane. Autopilot off. I have control. And target altitude 1,500. Brakes. Pressure. Undercarriage is fixed. Mixture rich. Fuel pump on the fullest tank. Landing lights on. Carburetor heat. Test. Carburetor heat off for landing. Belts, backs and braces. Landing checklist complete.
The 318 Golf Lima, Santa Barbara Tower, runway 15 left, cleared for takeoff.
15 left, cleared for 318 Golf Lima.
Right 47, runway 31 left, clear to land.
November 847, clear to land, 31 left. Midfield, the beam. And we're one in the White Arc, 1 notch. We should be around about, 1700 RPM, that's fine. Extend just a little bit more. Start our base. Another notch of flaps. Roll out on 500.
Bakersfield Tower, commuter November 7029 Sierra.
November 29er Sierra, Bakersfield Tower, go ahead.
Commuter number 29 Sierra is a Cessna 150, about 14 miles southeast of the field at 4,700 descending inbound landing.
November 29er Sierra, Bakersfield Tower, report 2 mile final, runway 30 right.
Report 2 mile final, 30 right, 29er Sierra.
A little bit of a hot dog landing there. Ineffective landing lights on this bus. Flaps up. Stay on the ground, and let's look for a taxiway. We'll exit Golf. We should have the FBO straight ahead of us. There we are. Let's get off the holding point. Yeah, these are manky landing lights. I want to get the wingtip conversion. Barely see. Alright, we should be clear of the runway. Palm Springs Tower, Cherokee, November 847, clear of the active. We're going to the FBO.
847, taxi via Whiskey, this frequency.
November 847, taxi via Whiskey, this frequency. My goodness, they've actually got the taxiway labelling right on this airport.
Belmar Tower, number 175, Alpha Foxtrot 3500 with Romeo.
Whiskey 3.
Burgate Golf Lima radar contact departure.
Contact departure, Golf Lima.
Number 175, Alpha Foxtrot, Palomar Tower. Enter right base, runway 24, cleared to land.
Right base 24, clear to land, 175 Alpha Foxtrot.
We should be good, yeah. Let's shut her down. Alright. Alright, now to shut these all off. And plop, plop, plop. That's all done. And avionics master off. Avionics master is off. And full rich. Idle cutoff. And off. Pull the key out. Put it on the dash. Master switch off. That's one of the nice features here. You've got a little torch if you've got the master switch off. That's rather cute, I think. Okay, let's just debrief on that one. I don't think there's really too much to debrief on that. I don't know if anybody found any errors. Please put them in the comments if I did something wrong. So, anyway, thank you for joining me on this this flight, and hope you can join me next time we take to the air. Bye for now.